So rumor has it that Becky Hammon could potentially become the first female head coach in the NBA. Portland Trail Blazers, Orlando Magic, Indiana Pacers, and Boston Celtics have all expressed interest in her. And also the Pelicans coach just got fired today as I'm recording this video, so who knows, maybe they'll be. But you might be asking yourself, how do I feel? And, well, I don't really know, honestly, how I feel at the moment. I feel, but if I was to force myself to think about it long enough, which I have, I think that I'm happy that obviously she's getting the opportunity, well deserved, in my opinion. But because I'm a selfish human being, I wish that this was for the Spurs that she was taking over as head coach, seeing that Popovich isn't getting any younger and probably is reaching retirement sometime soon. But, you know, whatever happens, happens. We'll just see if somebody picks up Becky before then. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Becky Hammon, I will enlighten you. Becky was hired as an assistant coach for the Spurs in 2014, and before that, she played as point guard at Colorado State from 1995 to 1999, and then professionally in WNBA from 1999 to 2014. And I should note that Becky played the second portion of her professional career in San Antonio for the San Antonio Stars, so she's been a part of the San Antonio community, basketball community, for some time now. Really the whole thing. So again, bringing me back to me, because I'm selfish, I just don't want her to leave San Antonio. I feel like she's done so much for the city, for the Spurs, so forth. But if she must, I want her to inherit the best head coaching position that is up for grabs. So right now, as far as I know, there's 4 teams interested in interviewing or hiring Becky. And I'm going to start by talking about the Orlando Magic opening. So what I've read is that the Magic are looking for a coach like their last coach, Steve Clifford, someone who's patient and going to build their organization up to a playoff contending group. They're not thinking like these next few years this is a team that's going to go all the way, but like somebody who has the patience to build them up to eventually getting to that point. And so the people who are interested in the job, or the team is interested in interviewing besides Becky, and these names I will note are probably going to be mentioned a few times throughout this video because, you know, everyone's applying for jobs on like Indeed or something, who knows. There is Kenny Atkinson, who is the Clippers assistant coach, Darvin Ham, who is Milwaukee's assistant coach, Ime Udoka, who is currently the Nets assistant coach, and obviously others because it's still super early in the process. And I think that the Magic could be a good spot for Becky because of what they want. It's a good starting point for her to not inherit a team that, you know, I'll get into later, that has higher expectations for their group. And I think that, you know, it's ideal, like, to make the playoffs. I think that that's something she could do. But I also realize that the person that I kind of think will get the job, but also this is kind of the person I think any of these teams could end up hiring, is Atkinson, because he was the head coach for the Nets, and he got a team that, you know, was not relevant. I'm sorry, but they weren't before KD and, you know, the super team that they have now, and got them to the playoffs, which to me was a huge feat, without even, you know, having the stars like Durant and Irving willing to play. And then, you know, I think he probably could have taken the Nets further, but then Kevin Durant was like, no, I just want a coach that's never coached before. So, you know, I get what I want, whatever. But anyways, that's who I think could end up getting this spot with Magic, because he obviously has like the perfect resume for this, but who knows what they're going for, what direction they want to go. So another team that's on the market for a head coach is the Portland Trail Blazers. And I don't know exactly what the Blazers are looking for in a coach, because I wasn't able to read up on that. But if I was to be the one selecting a new coach for them, I would think that they're looking at somebody who is one, going to make the playoffs, but also not have an early exit like they have done for the past, I don't know how many years. Terry Stotts was obviously able to get the Blazers to the playoffs time and time again, but with a star like Lillard, they definitely shouldn't have been making early exits. I understand that it's the West and it's really competitive, but just to me, they need a coach that, one, will get them further along, and then also one who focuses on defense, because that's consistently been the Portland Trailblazers' problem for the past, I don't know how many seasons, and, somebody's got to fix that. People who the Blazers are looking at hiring is obviously Becky, Chauncey Billups, who's an ex-NBA all-star for the Pistons, Don Staley, who coaches University of Southern Carolina basketball as well as USA basketball, and Mike D'Antoni, who last coached the Rockets, as well as Brent Barry, which I was surprised that when I was reading about this, I didn't know Brent Barry had any interest in coaching. He's an expert and the current VP for the Spurs basketball operations, and I don't know, he's the only one that I would just be kind of surprised if he got it. Sorry, but I just didn't know that coaching was a thing he was doing, but I'm not the one in the interview. Who knows what he brings up. I think, though, that point guard privilege is an obvious thing in the NBA coaching thing for years, has been, probably always will be. Also, you're looking at a team that's really structured around the star as a point guard with Lillard. So I think it could be Becky, it could be Billups, or it could be Staley. Lillard hasn't been quiet about what he wants. He's expressed that, he thinks it's time for a female coach. Obviously, I would assume that they would look to him to kind of decide what they're going with, because I think they want to keep him. I mean, I would, so I just wouldn't be surprised if it's one of those three. Another team that's looking at a new head coach is the Celtics, and there's a lot of repeats on this list. The new ones, I would say, it's like Jamal Mosley who's the Mavericks assistant coach, and then Jason Kidd, who's, ex-NBA star, but also Lakers assistant coach. And so after the Celtics coach Brad Stevens stepped up, not stepped down. I guess it's stepped up, right? Yeah, okay, because he's now a GM position for the Celtics. I just think that the way he left and what he said was kind of funny. He said, the good news about whoever we hire, they don't have to fill Doc Rivers' shoes like I did, and they don't have to fill Danny Ainge's shoes like I do now. They just have to figure out a way to be better than the last guy. And I'm like, okay, way to set the bar low for yourself, Brad. Like, I think that you're still staying a part of the Celtics. Like, you should want this team to go really far, especially because I think the Celtics don't have an excuse to not be going far, especially considering that they're in the East. I don't count them out, but it's just weird because with the talent they have, they shouldn't be an early exit team either. Also, especially with Jason Tatum, like, he's young, he's got a lot, I don't know. So, I just think that it just sounds funny. Like, it sounds like he broke up with them or something. Like, guys, like, he's, like, in the locker room when they got eliminated, and he's just like, it's not you, like, it's me, and I just think that you guys deserve better, so I'm going to have to, set you guys free. And they're like, no, Brad, we love you. And then he's like, no, like, I think I need to move on. And I think you guys need to move on. So, it's like a good breakup for the team and Brad, but also I just think it was weird. I don't really understand that decision. Anyways, I like the Celtics opening for Becky because, like I've said, the potential that team has, but I also think that it's, like, really high stakes to step into that opening because it's, like, you step in and you have to make playoffs and, even past first. I think, like, Celtics should be making it to the conference final, honestly. So that should be kind of what they're looking at for a coach. A lot of good candidates in each of these pools, obviously. So we'll see, like, who they end up going with in this case. And then the last one that I've been hearing the most about, and the team that a lot of people really seem to think is going to pick up Becky, is the Indiana Pacers. And I think that that's obviously accurate considering that the last coach, or they interviewed for Becky basically a year ago. Then their coach got fired after a year because the Pacers wanted somebody who was going to make the playoffs, and that didn't happen. Um, that's literally the exact reason that they fired the last coach. And so I think that a lot of people are like, oh, no brainer. They're going to pick Becky because she also interviewed last time. But then it's like, sorry, but then if that was the case, like, Spurs would have made the playoffs, I think. Like, I feel like that would have made for a better argument, but we didn't make the playoffs, or the Spurs didn't make the playoffs, so I don't really know how strong. I mean, obviously, she's not the head coach for this team, but I'm just saying she plays some part in the success of the team. But they've looked at a bunch of candidates. Like, I've heard that they're even thinking about Brett Brown, who was the 76ers coach, even though he doesn't sound great right now considering the Sixers are doing better without him. But also Terry Stotts, who was the Blazers coach who just got fired. And I just think, like, this is really a make or break situation that she's going to walk into. Like, she's going to need to, if she gets this team, it's you make the playoffs or you're done. And I think that if that's what they really want, they're probably going to go with an experienced coach who, like, has made the playoffs a number of times, because there's head coaches, like, that have experienced that exact thing. But, you know, if she got it, good for her. I'm just saying that's my thought process with how many people are, you know, on the market for this thing now. At the end of the day, I really just want Becky to go to whichever team feels best fit for them, for her. You know, I think it would be great to have a female head coach in the NBA finally after, you know, forever. Like, this is a long time coming. But selfishly, I wish, or I'm hoping that, like, maybe it's like a Chris Beard tech situation. Like, you know, she goes to one of these teams and then they fall in love with her and they're like, this is amazing. This is great. She's perfect. Just what we needed. She builds, like, a really great group. And then she's like, haha, bye losers. I'm going to Texas, which would be the Spurs in this case. And then, like, there's this uproar and then, like, the fans are upset and everyone's crying and sobbing and it's just, like, really dramatic for them. But then the Spurs are happy because then they get this amazing coach. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's something that we'll just have to, like, wait and see how that plays out. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. This has been fun. Well, I'll let you know. I guess I might do another video after a decision is made with Becky. But that's all. Bye.